This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. And for the first time in a while, I am joined by Leigh Wood over Zoom for the first time, I should say. Leigh, how are you?
Fantastic, mate. Fantastic. All coming together. Not long to go. Excited. Yeah, just it drags a bit, doesn't it? Making weight and tapering, and then fight week in a bubble and all that. But soon come round.
Let's obviously just kind of work through this interview because I know you're a busy man. You mentioned firstly there kind of the weeks can drag now when you just want to focus on fight week. Mentally, how does your mindset change from this week heading into next, and especially with very different circumstances going into a fight bubble, not having your friends and family close to you on fight night and what have you?
Yeah, it's hard, but everyone goes through the same thing. Everyone's making weight. You're training less, so you can eat even less, and all that side of boxing. What a lot of the fans and a lot of people watching on Fight Night don't get. But like I said, everyone's going through it. Technology helps us out a lot, especially seeing my kids on things like this, over the phone and the laptop. So I've been with my coach and Ben and Barry in there as well. So I'm not completely on my own, but yeah, look, it is what it is. It's a few days, and we'll get that British title around my waist.
Let's talk about that British title fight with Reece Mould. Leigh, going back to your defeat to Galahad-Dickens, are you surprised at all that you was able to get this British title fight in your immediate aftermath? I spoke to Dave Caldwell and he said with any of his fighters, it's just staying ready and the chances will present themselves. Was it a surprise for you to be able to get this opportunity now?
Not a surprise, but I felt like I got shafted a little bit. Not going into the tournament, because the tournament was brilliant. We got paid really well, really well. The opportunities were there. Obviously, I picked up the WO European, so I'm not knocking the tournament, but I felt like I got shafted by the board a little bit, because obviously I went in for that British title and it went on the line. So coming out of it, off the defeat to Jazza by a split decision. I mean, if it had been a brutal or a one-sided fight, then maybe then they wouldn't have sanctioned it. But I lost on a split decision, close fight. I should have boxed the British in the first round, but obviously they didn't sanction it. So I think, yeah, I mean, who else is there that's going to fight for who else is there credible to fight for it? Not many kids. So yeah, I mean, surprised, not so much surprised, but thankful as well that they did sanction it this time.
Talks about Reece Mould. What do you know about him on a personal level? What do you expect from him come next weekend?
As a fighter, I'm expecting him to be better than we've seen him. Obviously, it's a big occasion. It's a big night. There's a lot on the line. I know what he brings. I know his style. For the first time since, well, since I've been a pro, we've analysed him, watched footage of him before I just rock up and they've got to deal with me kind of thing. So I know what he brings. We've looked at him. We've worked on things. I know his strengths. I know his weaknesses, and I'm going to exploit him.
Do you feel the pressure to be successful next weekend because of the fact you are coming in on the back of that loss to Jazza?
I don't think so. I think I had a bad night. He had a very good night. Taking nothing away from him, he was the better man on the night, obviously. But I feel like I can beat kids like that. So falling short in a close fight at that level hasn't really knocked my confidence. I don't feel like, oh, can I need to go completely change? But since working with Ben, we've looked at that fight as well. We've looked at the fights before. I looked at the fights when I've looked good and looked bad, and identified why and what I needed to do and tweak and kind of neaten up my game. And we've ironed out all them things. I believe now you'll see it on Fight Night on the 13th.
I know how much you've wanted to fight for a British title, Leigh, for a while now, but do you ever look at, the position that Jazz is in now? He's won the Golden Contra tournament. He's the mandatory, well, he's been ordered to fight for the IBF. Do you ever look at it and think, if on the night I was given the result?
Yeah, obviously, I kicked myself. Obviously, I had a bad night, and not just a bad night. Preparation wasn't great for that fight, so obviously, I kicked myself. But hey, what can I do? Just spit my dummy out and not fight again. I've got to rebuild and stay on track, keep improving, which is the main thing. I've always said that to myself. Whether you look $1 million or not, there's always room for improvement. You've got to keep getting better, because when you get to the very top, it's fine margins. And definitely, I mean, a couple of fights, I can be back where I was. It's not so much of a massive step back from last time when I lost for the British. It put me back for a long time, obviously with management issues, but I've not established myself. I've not won a decent belt. Now we're coming back off winning two decent titles. So, my level of showing my level in early domestic fights, and now I'm ready to push back on and prove where I can mix it, which is where Jazza and Galahad are, and they're all fighting for world titles. And I believe on my night, when everything goes right, I'm more than capable of beating them kind of kids.
You mentioned a couple of times during this interview, obviously you've teamed up with Ben Davison, now a very well-respected coach who's achieved a lot in a short space of time, effectively. Talk to me about your link up, Leigh. Firstly, where did it come from? And you mentioned kind of since you've teamed up, you've been analysing your past fights a lot more than what you had previously. And one thing Ben's always been given a lot of credit for is attention to detail. He picks up on the smallest of things. Is that something that you've kind of acknowledged since you've worked together?
Yeah, definitely. He doesn't switch off, mate. It's boxing for us down here in this house is a full-time job. Get back from the gym, things we're working on, bang, we're getting videos off Leigh Wiley, which is like he analyzes the boxing, gets footage and clips and sends them us and helps us out with that side of things as well. So him and Ben will be constantly on us. So we'll come back, we've got videos to watch. If he wants to see something in sport and he didn't see it, the next day I'll be drilling it. I'll be watching videos when I get back. Then back in the gym and I'll be drilling it. And I'll be back to home at night. I'll be watching it. So yeah, he's very meticulous with things, and he just pick up on little details. And that's the whole game now. It's like the boxing's a lifestyle, and you've got to live it. And now I feel like my perception of boxing and how I view it is a lot better, especially as I move up through the levels now. And that's what I needed.
What prompted you to take the decision to team up with Ben?
So my friend Leo DeLandro, a good friend of mine, I used to live with him in Sheffield when I trained at the Ingles. He moved to Ben, and when Ian basically said to me, like, I can't give you what you need for this fight. I had no gym, I had no lads. I was just like, said, "Oh, are you sure?" kind of thing. I didn't really want the change. I was kind of happy where I was, but I kind of knew I needed to do better. But we had a bad camp anyway for the last fight. But yes, and I said, have some time to think about it, kind of thing. He said, look, went back to me a few days later. Said, look, I feel the same. Like, I can't give you what you need for this fight. Leo kept asking me, say, come down to Ben for weeks on end. And I was a bit skeptical. Obviously, it's a long way from home as well. But in the end, I thought, you know what have I got to lose? I'm going to go down and see what the crack is, see what it's about. I did a week down here, and now he can't get rid of me. It's good. I'm just sucking it all up. It's good. It's totally different. When I first come down, like I said to my friends and Leo, like, I was out of my comfort zone massively. Not just obviously the different city and that, but just the way he was explaining things and looking at things is different to what I know. Obviously, completely different. But yeah, over time I picked it up and I've clicked, and everything's clicking and sparring, and I feel really good. And just I'm glad that I've come down here.
I've seen Ben's comments about your power and how he sees you as arguably the hardest puncher that he's worked with. When you hear those comments yourself, what do you take away from it?
It's nothing new to me. It's no secret, really. I mean, like, every trainer really that's took me on pads, or I hear it from sparring partners like lightweights that spar. So many fighters have said, like, you whack you do for your weight, but there's more to boxing than that. You can't rely on that. But it's nice to wear. It's nothing that I've not heard before, but it's more about disguising it, setting it up, and that's the key. You got to land it. It's not just about having all this power and blast through people. You got to be smart with it.
What's got you leave to touch on a few other things? We mentioned Galahad-Dickens earlier. When that does kind of come to fruition, your thoughts when it does go ahead, how do you think it will play out?
Obviously, they're both different stages now. I think Barry's got an engine on him. He's got a right engine on him. Dickens will have to get it right on the night, his pace right on the night. But Barry will make him work. Make him work really hard. It's hard to call, but I probably would say Galahad, yeah.
And then another man who has got a fight coming up, Hopey Price, somebody you know well, trains with Dave. Obviously, you're managed by Dave. Your thoughts as he steps up now against Zahid Hussein?
Yeah, he's a very talented kid coming through. He's always developing. He's only young, but I think it's a fight that is more than capable of winning. I think he'll show his class.
And last thing I just want to ask you about Lee's obviously working with Ben now. One man who he's working with is Josh Taylor, unified super lightweight champion. What's it like for you to train alongside somebody like Josh?
Yeah, it's good. In and out of the gym is a laugh. Is it's fun to be around. Same as Leigh and Shabazz and Leo. We've got a good little setup down here. We all live together, go to training together. But watching him in the gym and the things he's doing, he's practicing the same things that I'm practicing day in day out with Ben, in different ways, in different forms. So it's nice to see like the things I'm doing are working, seeing it work with him, inspiring and myself inspiring. So yeah, it's kind of just someone to look up to and someone leading the way.
He's knuckling down now, just getting ready for that Jose Ramirez fight later this year. Again, just what do you expect from that fight? I know you're going to back Josh, and a lot of people kind of see Josh as the favourite, but what do you expect from it when he does come around?
Josh is looking a lot better fighter, a lot better fighter. He's been smarter. Like the last fight, he was a dangerous opponent. People was expecting him to get roughed up a bit, probably out muscled, and he was a big puncher. And Josh finished him really quick. The lovely body shot is just it's not just by fluke either. It's things Ben will be drilling with him and practicing and setting things up. And it's the same with this kid as well. They've already started the weeks and weeks ahead. They've already started. They know exactly what he brings. They know his weaknesses, and they're going to exploit him again. And I think Josh is going to do a number on him pretty easy.
Right, Leigh, before I let you shoot off to enjoy the rest of your day, I'm leave a final word to yourself. For everybody who has followed you so far and everybody who will be tuning in next weekend, what would you like to say to them?
Just a massive thank you. I've had a lot of messages for support and well wishes already. And this time, this belt's coming back to Nottingham, and hopefully in the summer we can get a defence. It would be nice if the COVID thing just kind of does a back door, because everyone's sick of it now and wants to get back out there and see everyone. But yeah, thanks for the messages, and tune in on February 13th. It's going to be a great night of boxing.
Leigh, I appreciate your time. As always, I'll keep in touch and I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you, Speeds Boxing Social.
Always, mate. Thank you.